Donna Kimbrough.
Let's go, girls. Come on.
From New York City to Los Angeles, Powered Up with Beck and Franklin is giving women of all ages permission to live the life they've always dreamed of. Why live in black and white when you can choose the brilliance of 3D and Technicolor? Each week, Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin and their high-powered guests will be here to cheer you on, to share their challenges, their successes, and what they've learned along the way. It's all about women supporting women. The stories and practical tips on sex, beauty, money, and so much more are designed to help you reconnect to the powerful woman you are. Fabulous knows no limits. Now it's time for you to expand your boundaries. Here are Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin.
Hey ladies, this is Sandra Beck and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and our show today is Powered Up Talk Radio, and I'm so excited about our topic today. It's like, we're talking about aging backwards. We're going to talk about infidelity, things that are just right up my alley. Oh, Linda, I'm so excited for today.
You're excited every week, and that's a good thing, I think. I'm glad that you are. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to talking to Jackie Silver, Aging Backwards, because she's been doing this for quite a while, and she's got fabulous tips. And, I know her personally, so she does look fabulous. It's not just an old picture of herself that she's putting on there and say, I'm Dorian Gray. No, she really does. So she's going to have some great advice for us. But today,
I love it, and I love her site. Huh? Oh, yeah, let's talk about today, because I was going to say her site's so pretty. I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah, well, she's I met her, I guess, I said almost 10 years ago. It's like, wow, time flies so fast. It's just, I don't know where September went, and now it's October, and before you know it, it'll be Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's just like zooming by.
Well, and if you met her 10 years ago, then you got to watch her, like, age backwards. Does she really age backwards? Get better?
Cool. She's getting better. She really is. But it's remember that guest we had on a couple of weeks ago, the psychic, and she was talking about the energy
Lori.
flow is really ramping up. Well, I'll tell you. I mean, it feels like things are just like moving like at turbo speed. Everything is just like it's here and then it's gone. It's here and then it's gone. It's like I don't know. Maybe it's when you get older, it feels that way, but it really feels like we're in some sort of high super gear.
It is. It's like warp speed. Not to be the geeky Star Trek person who is a big fan of the Big Bang Theory, but I am, and it is. It's warp speed. It's like I put my head down, I go to work, I lift my head up, and it's 2 months later. I mean, it's amazing how fast this year has rolled by.
Yes, it really is. But, there's not much we can do about it. I guess the only thing we can do is kind of just slow down a little bit and appreciate the moment that we're in, because it flies by so quickly.
It does. Well, if we're following the protocol of our show, Linda, if time is flying by so quickly, then that means we're like aging less. We're like going backward in time, so we must be getting younger and younger by the second.
Well, and the good thing is that there's always new things coming out that are going to help us do that. But, I think that we have to stick to the basics, and Jackie will, I'm sure, expound on that. But today, I got this survey that I thought was pretty interesting, and basically the gist of it is, contrary to popular belief, new survey finds that majority of cheaters find their partners more attractive than their lovers. Now, I guess that sort of flies in the face of convention.
The wife is more attractive to them than the 20-year-old they're banging? That's what you're saying? This study said?
Yeah. Well, or they find the partner, the wife, is more attractive than the lover. But I think this goes for men and women both. This comes from a very credible source called Victoria Milan, and I think it's a website that you go on if you're looking for an extramarital affair. But it said
Mm.
only 30% of cheating men surveyed choose mistresses who are younger than their wives. And then it says 42.8% think their mistresses is pretty but not even half, which was 42.8, think their mistress is prettier than their partner. So that means that 74% report the partner is more interesting to them than their mistress. So they're saying that then why do we cheat? But it was funny with
Well,
women.
I was just
But
going to
with
say, with
women,
respect to that would mean that you respect your wife enough to marry her, but you just want your little honey on the side. So you wouldn't, you know what I mean? If you think about it, it's like if they really liked these women they were with, they would have left their wife.
well, right, but it's not just the men that are doing this. Obviously, the women are doing it too, and the women. It's interesting that they say the women actually more likely to rate a lover's fitness than their higher than their partners. So the
Oh.
women are looking for younger, hotter, you know, bods than the man that they're with in their relationship. So obviously the women are more shallow than the men. But it was really interesting just to read some of this, even though I know it's all kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I'm
But
like, good for
both.
you, ladies. You know, if you're going to go for
Well,
somebody, why would you go for some like fat old man who's lost his hair and has a bad back so you can do his laundry? I mean, you would want somebody, if you're going to step out for somebody who's worth jeopardizing your marriage over.
this is what they're saying here is the biggest difference between men and women in the survey that they took is that cheating women value their lovers' caring, listening, and passion even more than do the cheating men. Because and a huge percentage of the women said they've chosen a lover who they feel appreciates them more than their partner, that's a good listener, and obviously, the last part is the sex, because they're getting more sex with the lover than they are at home, but they're feeling that they're more, I know, more appreciated.
Or
So,
valued. You know, if
I mean,
somebody cares for you and listens to you, you're going to want to have great sex with them, and you will have great sex with them because you're communicating.
well, you're communicating that, but you're also, when you're in that, afternoon delight mode, I think you do more talking. I think you reveal more about yourself. And you just, I don't know, it's just it's like fantasy land. So it's, it's kind of a different world. It's the surreal world rather than the real world.
Well, yeah, it's playtime.
So
There's no diapers,
it's
there's no
so
bills to be paid. It's just fun. I mean, I think just by the process of having an affair, I know when my ex-husband had his affairs, it was just playtime. He could use the company credit card. He could, he didn't have to deal with her kids or my kids. I mean, he does now, so that's a good thing. But that fantasy part of it, it's free, it's easy, it's fun. There's no responsibility, there's no strings. It's just, ooh, this feels good, ooh, this is fun. There's no day-to-day drudgery or responsibility.
no, absolutely. So I'm not condoning it, but I certainly understand it, and I certainly understand the part where the woman is saying, someone thinks I'm pretty, someone tells me I'm pretty, someone is showing me that, that I'm attractive, sexy, a sexual being, and a lot of times, that in a marriage gets to be not done often enough, and the woman just does not feel appreciated. But I'm sure, on the other hand, it happens on the other side that the woman is not responsive to the husband, so they don't feel appreciated and loved as well. So is it all? Maybe it's just lack of communication. It always seems to come back to that. That if you communicate how you feel about somebody and that you value them, maybe there wouldn't be as much playing around.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
to
know.
me,
I'm
it's
not
like
a marriage counselor.
I'm not a marriage counselor, but having been on both sides of the fence, I didn't cheat on my husband, but my husband cheated a lot on me. And I can tell you there's a return on investment. You know, when he was in his cheating phases, he would go to the gym. That's how I knew the second time around. I knew when he had a second girlfriend, I could pick up the signs right away. He had mints everywhere. They were in the car, in his briefcase, in his desk. You know, he was combing what's left of his hair.
Not
he went
funny,
to the gym and lifted
funny.
his... It is, but you know, he'd lift weights. He was always on a diet, eating healthy, you know, and the first time around I thought, oh, this is great. He's turned over a new leaf. He's no longer depressed and, you know, pathetic. And no, he was doing it all for another woman. But I looked at how much effort he made to run around with these broads that he never made with me, because I was a sure thing. He didn't have to impress me. He didn't have to do anything. I was there paying the bills, whether, you know, he looked great or not. And I think with an affair, you got to make an effort. With a marriage, you can just sit there on your thumbs.
Well, I mean, but in this survey, I read earlier that the men really enjoyed spending time with the wife more than they did the girlfriend, because maybe the wife is more challenging. Maybe the wife keeps him on his toes. You know, I don't know.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think of it that way.
It seems like a contradiction to me, but that, you know, that's what they said. Listen, it's never easy, and everybody has their own reasons.
Right, and that's what I was going to think about. Like, what is the reason for cheating? You know, is the reason for cheating because you're not getting any at home, because, you know, you think you deserve it, or you feel so bad you need to bolster your self-esteem by, you know, paying for some 20-year-old? You know, I don't know. The reasons are endless. But
or
it's
like
one of my favorites.
Maybe you just need some playtime.
That's right, or you need a relief or a break or something out of the ordinary. Well, speaking of break, we've got to go to our commercial break. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm the host of Powered Up Talk Radio, along with Linda Franklin. And from coast to coast, we've got you covered today with Aging Backwards. When we come back from the break, our guest is going to be Jackie Silver, and she is going to talk to us about aging backwards. And we all want to do that because we all want to do our best, look our best, feel our best. Linda, I can't wait for Jackie to come back on. Her website is agingbackwards.com. Check it out before she comes back after the break.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Be here for Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer, Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com. Tricia will dig deep into topics that matter most to women, inspiring women to make a change in their own lives and to make a difference in the world, and maybe even deep within their own hearts. Tricia is a wife, mom, speaker, family expert, and author of 24 books. For more information on Tricia and Living Inspired, go to her website, TriciaGoyer.com. That's TriciaGoyer.com. Tricia's vision is to be the voice of hope and possibility for women of all ages. Her intention is to serve ordinary women by encouraging extraordinary things with God's help. Tricia expresses real life, real hope for real women. Is there more living for you to do? Yes. Start living inspired. Living Inspired with Tricia Goyer. Thursday afternoons at 4, 3 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
Goals, objectives, business and action plans. How important are they for me to manage? Whether you're an executive, entrepreneur, or maybe you're just someone looking to advance your career and want to be confidently prepared for your future, business and life coach Carmen Carroza can help you remove obstacles and move forward in the right direction. Carmen is known as the real-world coach for a reason. His no-nonsense style, along with an innate ability to form connections with people, gives you a unique opportunity to see higher and further than ever before. We live and work in an ever-changing, complicated world that can leave us with questions about every decision we make. Join host Carmen Carroza, business and life coach, on Forward Motion every Monday at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern on the Rockstar Radio Network. You will realize dreams and aspirations you thought were out of reach.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
Hey, ladies, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and this is Powered Up Talk Radio. And our guest today is Jackie Silver of Aging Backwards. And Linda, I'm so excited for this guest because I just want to get younger every day. I feel younger every day, and it's nice to see that other women out there are paving the way so that we can be the best we can possibly be at any age. Jackie, you're coming to us today from Florida, is that correct?
Actually, I'm in New York City at the moment.
Oh, you're in New York City right now. That's why you and Linda were talking about catching up, and we have to catch you guys up on the airways.
Right.
That's right. We're both in the same city, but both busy. So this is our time to chat and catch up.
That's great, because we've got lots to chat about. Jackie, I would like you to introduce yourself to our listeners and talk a little bit about your philosophy of aging backwards.
Well, thank you so much, number one, for having me. And I always say I have the shortest bio in the world. I'm aging backwards. I'm in my 50s, and I still get asked for ID to buy wine.
Okay, well, what else can you say after that?
Exactly.
That's amazing. I haven't been carded since I was 21, so that's great.
Well,
and she really does look that way. I mean, I see her. I haven't seen her in maybe 6 or 7 months, but I'll tell you, she's beautiful, and she keeps changing the pictures on her website, and they keep getting better and better and better.
Well, thank you.
So what do we do, Jackie? Where do we begin?
Well, okay, getting back to Sandra's question about, my philosophy on aging backwards. Number one is my feeling is that exercise is the fountain of youth. And a lot of people don't like to hear that. But here's the thing. I'm not, and Linda knows me personally, so she knows I'm not like someone who preaches. But what I do is I'm like your best friend who's going to do it with you. So I have a tip for everybody who doesn't like to exercise. And that is, it's really all about getting started. So once you get started, you've done this before. You find your second win 5 minutes into it. You're like, OMG, why was I so resistant? So the tip is put on your cutest outfit, put on your workout shoes, and just get started, whether it's at home with a video or at the gym or just walking outside or taking the stairs, anything. It's always about getting started.
No, absolutely. I agree. Even for me who goes to the gym, I've been going pretty regularly for the past 30 years. But when I miss a week or two, getting back to it is always a challenge because, it's so much. I can find 1,001 reasons not to go.
What is it about the exercise that, because I see it, you guys, I'm a big walker and a hiker, and I see these young men and women and these old men and women out there hiking, and their cheeks are all rosy, and they just exude this amazing energy that, it just makes them seem so much younger. I've got a guy that I hike with, and he's in his 80s. I kid you not, and I can barely keep up with this guy. And he's funny and he's vibrant. And then I see another guy, sitting in a wheelchair, and it's like, it's hard to believe they're the same age. And what is it about exercise that keeps us young?
It's all of the things that you just talked about. It's, first of all, our bodies are made for moving. Our bodies are not made for sitting. If you go back to ancient times, whether you're thinking about cave people or whatever, people have always been moving all these years. So we need to keep our well-oiled machine well-oiled by moving. And like you said about the rosy complexion, when you exercise and you get that rosy complexion, that's circulation, that's oxygenated blood circulating and, under your skin. And helping your skin to stay young, create more collagen, and look younger. It's just common sense. Funny you mentioned that about the wheelchair, because I was on a flight to Florida one day, and I kid you not, there were like 17 wheelchairs getting on the flight. And I saw some people, though, who looked like they were in their 90s. You could tell they were in their 90s or 80s, but yet they were thin and they were spry and they looked healthy and young, and they were nowhere near wheelchairs. You could just tell that they had worked out, or at least done something, exercise, walking, something, all their lives.
Yeah, well, like you said, we have to keep ourselves oiled, because that is the key. I have a friend here in New York, and she's 89, and she goes to the gym twice a week and works out with my trainer. But on the days that she doesn't go, she still gets up, and first thing she does in the morning is do her exercises so that she's limber, so she can go and run around New York.
When you talk about limber, Linda, that's something that I've noticed recently. My literary agent, Peter Fleming, is 80, and he has an identical twin brother, and this is really cool. He's got an identical twin brother who is very, very ill. They live completely different lifestyles. Peter does yoga, he swims, he's very, very careful about his diet. His brother, unfortunately, is not. And his brother looks like he's over 100. Peter looks like he's 60. But one of the things that he did when I saw him recently for lunch, he slid right into booth at Junior's, which is a restaurant in Los Angeles, a Jewish deli. He slid right in the seat like he was 9 years old. And I said, Peter, what are you doing? And he said he's been doing yoga. And I look at a couple of my girlfriends who do yoga, and they walk like a young person. Their arms move, their carriage moves. They really do. It's like I think you're onto something with this well-oiled machine. I'd love to know your thoughts about yoga from each of you. Let's go to Jackie first and then Linda.
Well, number one, I don't make too many New Year's resolutions, because you don't want to feel like a failure if you break them. But my one New Year's resolution every year is to do more yoga. And I agree, yoga is one of the greatest things you can do, not just for your body, but also for your mind. And if you remember many years ago, and some of the people listening might remember, that there was a Chiquita Banana commercial with a hurdler named Bert Morrow. He was in the Olympics, and he didn't even start hurdling until he was in his 60s. And by the time I met him accidentally at Norma's for breakfast in New York City many, many years ago, he was in his 80s. And I asked him, Mr. Morrow, what is the key to, staying so young? And he told me one word: stretching. So that has stayed with me all these years. That was probably 17, 18 years ago that he told me that. And I still keep it in mind. Even though I'm guilty of not always stretching enough and not doing enough yoga, it's something that's always on my mind to do.
Linda, do you do yoga? What are your thoughts about yoga?
I've done yoga in the past. I've gone, done the regular. I've done the yoga in the 120 degree heat, and I almost passed out. But my body is not as limber and as it could be. So sometimes when I go to do the stretches, I don't try to do anything I can't do, but even when I think I can do just a teeny weeny bit more, I always end up hurting something. So lately I haven't been doing it, because even in the room, it's crazy, because you look around and everybody's doing something and you say, oh my God, I can't do that. And so you try a little harder, and every time I do that, I end up in trouble.
No. Do not compare yourself. That's the problem.
No, I think it's Linda's competitive nature coming out. It's competition yoga. I will stretch farther than that kid. I don't care. He just came out of the womb 8 years ago. I will do a split because I am Linda Franklin. That's what we're hearing.
No, it's just my body just doesn't want to do a lot of those things. And then when you're just sort of sitting there and watching, you feel kind of strange. So I've just been doing, what I've been doing is I stretch at the gym, I do the elliptical at the gym, and I do weight training with my trainer at the gym, and that's just about it. I know yoga is wonderful, and I might try to go back to it in the beginning class where they don't ask me to do too much.
Well, number one, that's the point. Yes, the beginner class. It doesn't matter if you stay in beginner for the next 30 years. You do to the best of your ability. But Linda and Sandra, both of you and people listening, there's a really interesting class called MELT, M-E-L-T. It's not yoga, but it's where you use those kind of like those puffy things that you lay on, those logs that are kind of puffy and you lay on them. I forget what they call them,
Like the foam rollers.
Yeah, foam roller. I knew it was coming somewhere. But anyway, this MELT class that I have taken a few times, it is wonderful. It really loosens you up and, talk about a well-oiled machine. That's what I feel like it does. And it also, it addresses your fascia, which is that thin white stuff that covers the muscle. Like when you buy meat and you sometimes see, on the meat, a thin white covering. And MELT addresses that, which it smooths it out and stretches it. And it's something that people just don't ordinarily do.
Ooh, I think this is a class I need to take. What about you, Linda?
Yeah, I wrote that down. MELT sounds good to me. Yeah, if you can melt away some of those aches and pains, that's a very good thing.
Well, not only that, but when I was taking it regularly, I really felt as if it was smoothing out any cellulite that I might have had.
Well, that's even better.
That's
even better.
Linda, come and be my guest, Linda, for a MELT class.
Okay, because I haven't seen it at my gym, although I haven't done a lot of classes. But I thank you for that invitation.
Okay, you guys, I got to take us to commercial break. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm here with Linda Franklin, and our show is Powered Up Talk Radio. Our guest today is Jackie Silver of Aging Backwards. For those of you that missed the first half of the show, you can check us out on iTunes under Powered Up Talk Radio. You can go to our Powered Up talkradio.com by the same name and download our over 25 hours of informative programming that has to do with money, sex, beauty, and love. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk more to Jackie Silver about aging backwards.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
This is for all you girls about 42. Tossing pennies into the fountain of youth.
Familia, faith, identity, tradición. Latina life is never boring, but it can be muy dramática. So how do you coexist between the old school ways of la abuela and the new school life you're creating for yourself without losing your faith, familia, identity, or tradiciones? Welcome to Living Latina with Francesca Escoda, where culture curls and curves collide in one spicy cross-cultural conversation that will leave you begging for más. Francesca tackles all the important issues, from politics to family values, to religion to, you guessed it, relationships and men. As Chief Everything Officer at the Wow Factor, Francesca is passionate about showing women of all cultures, ages, and lifestyles how to rock what they've got with style, sass, and smarts. Be sure to join her every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for Living Latina, only on the Woohoo Radio Network. Are you ready to start rocking that woohoo that only you do? Because Lisa Stedman is on a mission. She will dare you, challenge you, enlighten you, provoke, and empower you to bring out that inner woohoo. Lisa is an internationally acclaimed best-selling author. She is a breakup expert, a brand consultant, CEO of Woohoo Inc. and the Woohoo Radio Network. She will show you how to take your boohoo and turn it into woohoo woohoo, get rebellious, and get real. Get your dreams off the back burner. Get inspired and motivated to take action. Start rocking that woohoo that only you do in love, life, and business. She is going to be here for you every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's some more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
This is for all you girls about 42.
Hey, ladies, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and our guest today is Jackie Silver of Aging Backwards. And for those of you that missed the first half of our show, we talked a little bit about infidelity. We talked about younger men and younger women. Then we moved on with Jackie Silver and talked about the importance of exercise with respect to aging beautifully. And now we're going to talk about beauty because, you know, one of the things, and Linda and I, we talk about this a lot, you know, skincare, wrinkles, you know, the tightness of our skin on our face and our body. It's a never ending battle to keep that young. And that's one of the biggest signs, I think, of women aging is their skin. What do you think, Linda?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, different women have different problems. Some women are very wrinkled as they get older because maybe they've smoked too much or drink too much or sat in the sun too much. And others, they end up just with the sag. They may not have the wrinkles, but, you know, the skin loses its collagen and its elasticity, and it kind of just hangs there. So, and that's a big sign of aging as well, especially around the neck area and the chin line. So I'm very anxious to hear what Jackie has to say about that. And is there stuff that we can do, put on our face or consume that would help with skin elasticity?
Jackie, it's all yours.
I was going to say, is that straight to me? Because, you know, I can talk forever about that topic. You know, speaking of young-looking skin and getting carded, I was at Trader Joe's a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to buy one beer. And I kid you not, the cashier asked me for my ID. I said, how old do you have to look to buy a beer here? And he said, 35. So I'm in my mid-50s. How can my skin look young enough that I am carded to look 35? And, you know, I have a lot of secrets, and I'm willing to share them because I'm like your BFF. One of them is a little supplement that I take every day, and I've been taking every day for about 5 years. And it's called Skin Defense Complex. I just really buy it online wherever I can find the best price. And, you know, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, so I don't go into all the details of how it works or why it works. It's kind of like I'm not high tech, so I don't know how my computer does all the magical things it does, like let me talk to you guys in LA and New York at the same time. So I don't try to understand it. And the same goes for Skin Defense Complex. I just know that my skin looks and feels like a baby. And Linda, you've seen me in person, so you know that's the truth.
Does it work on all skin types? Like I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to ask about what's your skin type? Is it thick? Is it thin? Is it like mine's paper thin and milk white like Casper the Ghost?
Well, I'm very pale, and my skin is not paper thin, but I attribute that to Skin Defense Complex and also 37 years of nonstop exercising. But, you know, as with any kind of supplement, you should always check with your doctor before you start taking something like that, even though it's over the counter. Because if you're taking anything else that may be prescription or anything, you never know how they're going to interact. So I just say, you know, check with your doctor. You can go online and search Skin Defense Complex and get the ingredients and show it to your doctor. But my skin is thick, it's beautiful, it's soft. I used to have a lot of sunspots. I was one of those from the generation where we slathered our entire bodies, including our faces, with baby oil mixed with iodine, and then we took a reflector and reflected the sun on the roof to our faces. So I had a lot of sun damage, and I really attribute Skin Defense Complex to helping me a lot. And as Sandra just pointed out, it is very affordable. You can find it online for anywhere from $15 to $30. That's a month's supply. I don't know how much, laser treatments to get rid of sunspots are, but I know they're a lot more than that.
Oh, I'm on Amazon, $14.96, and it ships for free. I mean, come on. It's like that's like a coffee and a half at Starbucks.
Yes, exactly. So that is one of my best kept secrets, and now everyone knows about it. So I'm going to have to stock up and get my lifetime supply, so make sure they don't run out.
I'm telling Sandra all the time that I'm kind of addicted to the shopping networks. I don't know that, like, it's my new guilty pleasure. And I don't have to tell you, there's 9 million products out there that claim to be the best at reversing aging. And there's these little different machines, whether it's the electrical impulse machine or a machine that just warms your face or cools your face or anything like that. Do you have any kind of advice for, which product, if, there's so many, which one should we choose to put on our face? And do any of those cockamamie little handheld machines work?
I just have to say I love the use of the word cockamamie. I just had to say that. I had to repeat that. There are so many, and I have to say that I'm a big fan of shopping television myself. You just have to love shopping television if you're a woman, right? But most people do. That's why they're so successful.
and you've been on shopping television. You've been one of the spokespeople on shopping television.
Exactly. Also, one of the reasons why I love it so much, but also because I do love to go on there and help people get a good product. Right now I'm not doing any shopping TV, but I will tell you that there are so many great products out there that it really behooves you and I use you in the general term of everybody, to really just do your own homework on that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much out there. So when you see something, whether you're at the department store or shopping TV or online or one of the stores like Sephora or Ulta, you should look at the ingredients, find out what the ingredients do and get knowledgeable. The same way you would do that if you went to your doctor and you were diagnosed with something, right? The first thing you do is you go online and you find out everything about it. And so I just think that it's up to everybody to do their homework, listen to what the people say, see the before after photos and decide for yourself, because, there's so many great things out there. I really can't pick out and say, do this. But there is one thing that I will mention, and Linda, our mutual friend, Cynthia Rowland, but her program, Facial Magic, which is a facial exercise program, totally works. I've been doing that program for 4 years. I have no injections. I used to get injections. I got injections for 7 years, starting 15 years ago, before they were even approved. I knew doctors that would do things under the table in LA, Sandra, when I used to live in LA. You know how forward they are with that kind of thing. And yeah, I used to get injections in places that probably shouldn't even be injected. But for the last 4 years,
we all know where that is.
For the last 4 years, I have had no injections, and I've just done the facial exercises, Facial Magic, and really it makes all the difference in the world. Linda, you do them.
Well, I was doing them, and I kind of stopped because it was the 20 minutes. I guess I got lazy, and it's you really have to be dedicated to the program, and especially at the beginning, because the beginning is everything, and then you can kind of taper off once you do that. But I got lazy.
Well, at least you're woman enough to admit it. I never get lazy when it comes to my face because, it's just in me that I always want to look and feel my best. When I was 5 years old, I remember this. I used to brush and brush and brush my hair like 100 times. And then I would go find my dad and say, Daddy, do I look pretty? And he'd say, "Oh, yes, you look beautiful." So I'd go back and brush my hair another 100 times. And then I'd go, "Daddy, do I look more beautiful now?" I mean, and it's not a vanity thing. It's just for me. I didn't do it for other people, and I still do not do it for other people. I do it for myself. I like to be able to look and feel my best. That's just my thing.
I like when people
Yeah,
call
well,
me
that's
pretty.
a good thing. I agree.
You know,
no,
it feels
I
good.
want to look the best I can. So I try, different products. I try different, the cockamamie machines, and some of I after a while you just can't even tell, if they are or not. But but people say that I look okay, but it's it's when you're looking in the mirror. If you can look in the mirror and be happy with what you see looking back at you, I think that you're in good shape.
Okay, well, I have to interrupt and make sure I have time to say this one important thing. Just let me take over the radio show. Here's my important comment. A lot of, I write about charity in New York City too. So a lot of times people will say, "What are you going to wear to that event?" And I say, it really doesn't matter what I'm going to wear that much, because I always make sure that what I'm wearing on the inside is much more beautiful than what I'm wearing on the outside. And that's my last comment, because I really wanted to get that in. It's about inner beauty radiating outward.
Well, you guys, I need to take us to commercial break, and Jackie, I want to support you on that, because I worked for 12 years in Beverly Hills, and I saw some of the most beautiful women in the world come through my office, and the ones that I remember standing out to me, I can remember them. One of them I remember in a black turtleneck and a pair of black pants, and she looked so beautiful because she was just beautiful. She had a great body, a great figure. Her face was beautiful. She was clean and clear, and she didn't have any of the accoutrements, the big diamonds, the sparklers, the whatever. When we come back from the break, I want to talk a little bit more about that kind of beauty, because that's the ones that really shined, especially in a city where beautiful women are a dime a dozen. How do you stand out above the rest? And it's interesting what women do to stand out, and I'd like to talk to both of you about that when we come back from the break. My name is Sandra Beck. I'm the host of Powered Up Talk Radio, along with Linda Franklin. We're visiting with Jackie Silver of Aging Backwards. Check her out at agingbackwards.com.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
Get ready to live La Bella Vita with Dawn Catherine on TogiNet.com. Live La Bella Vita. If you're wanting to know all the beauty tricks of the trade and the latest fashion trends before everyone else, this is your show. If you admire celebrities' beauty and their fashion sense, this is your show. Do you love wine and want to know more about the process it takes to make wine from the vine to the bottle? This is your show. Live La Bella Vita. For more on the show and your host, check out our website, labellavitacosmetico.com. This is the kind of show you can sink your teeth into. If you enjoy traveling and food and family, all with an Italian flair, then you can live La Bella Vita with your host, Dawn Catherine. Wednesday nights at midnight, 11 p.m. Central, on TogiNet.com.
The Woohoo Radio Network presents the Diva Download with Tracy and Tasha. If you think Diva is all about attitude and drama, think again. The Diva Download is the premier online radio program where girls of all ages, shapes, sizes, and colors get together to redefine what it means to be a diva so that all girls can discover their inner diva and develop a healthy sense of self-worth and self-esteem. Being a true diva means you're diverse, involved, value-driven, and active. That's today's diva. If you want to celebrate the girl in your life through education, encouragement, empowerment, and entertainment, join us every week on Tuesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and celebrate the essence of being a girl, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
Hey, ladies, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and our guest today is Jackie Silver of Aging Backwards, and we are talking about beauty. And before we went on break, I was sharing with you girls a little story about my time in Beverly Hills, and I will share with you guys and the listeners that I was at a charity event once where I was seated next to Halle Berry, and she was so beautiful. I mean, she was just beautiful skin, glowing eyes, beautiful lips, and she was wearing a white halter dress. And that's it. I don't remember her shoes. She didn't have any jewelry on. She just radiated beauty from the inside out, Jackie, as you put it beautifully. She looked so healthy. She looked so fit and toned. And I was amazed. I was looking at her. I kept staring at her because I'm like the weirdo from Buffalo when I do that. But I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, that she just looked so great without all the things that we put on to be beautiful, the jewelry, the clothes, the whole thing. She was simply beautiful. And I'd love to know your thoughts about like jewelry and clothing and what do we do to bring out our inner beauty?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that because, I don't wear a lot of jewelry. And I think that people who like kind of hide behind a lot of jewelry or hide behind, their outer accoutrements, I just think that they probably aren't as confident as they could be. And there's so many ways to get your confidence up. And I'm going to tell you like a secret way that I use to get my confidence up. It's so off the wall, but it worked for me, and it might work for some of your listeners. I used to be kind of shy, like in public. It's hard to believe, Linda, because you know me, but I was kind of shy in certain groups. And so when I lived in Los Angeles, especially, Sandra, because you know how judgmental some people can be there. And so what I did was I went to one of the beauty supply stores in the Valley, and I bought a beautiful human hair blonde wig. And I'm brunette, so I bought the opposite of what I am. And I wore this blonde wig out, and I called myself Nikki. And because I was somebody else, I could just be myself and act crazy and see how people accepted or didn't accept. Still being my nice self, but a little more bold and a little bit more sassy. And it really worked. It gave me the confidence that I can just be myself. And I think that comes with age too, but it really did help me to kind of break out of my shell and have a little more confidence, where I didn't feel, after I shed the blonde wig and the name, I didn't feel as if I had to hide behind anything.
Hey, Linda, how about you?
Well, I've never put on a blonde wig and gone out. When I go out, I'm not the belle of the ball. I'm a great watcher, and I can be really, really charming, or I can be really, really quiet in the background, because as Jackie said, if I'm feeling good about myself, it doesn't matter. You can enjoy other people, you can enjoy the moment, and just be yourself. And I don't wear a lot of jewelry. It's really crazy because my husband's dad was a jeweler, and I got lots of jewelry. I wear a watch, and I don't even wear a wedding ring. So I wear my shining service bracelet. That's what I wear. It's just, and I wear my hair in a ponytail most times. So, and I look around the room and I compare myself to other women of a certain age, and I think I look good, and I think I look better than they do, and that makes me, and If as long as I feel that way, that's a good thing.
Well, I think it's a great thing. I mean, Linda, one of the things that I love about you is you have this killer megawatt smile, and it just lights up the room. It lights up your face. And when you're happy, there's not anyone who can hold a candle to you when you have that twinkly eyes, that happiness, and you have the whole frame, like a picture frame around you. You've got your hair is always taken care of. You've got great clothes, and your face just lights up. And, I want to talk about that to Jackie a little bit, and to you, Linda, about playing up that one attribute we all have. And Linda, you have many. That's just my favorite one of yours, which is your smile.
Thank you. Would you want me to answer that, and then we'll go to Jackie and let her talk?
Sure.
It's just when I'm happy with where I am, what I'm doing, that's just it. I'm not a good faker. If I'm in a place and I'm not happy, you won't see that smile, you won't see that sparkle, you don't see that light. Jackie, I've seen her in a lot of different arenas, and she always has it. I don't. If I'm doing the things that I like to do, it's there. Otherwise, I'm not as happy as I should be, and that's just me. As I can't fake it. But most of the things that I'm doing these days, I'm really enjoying. So the smile is there with me. And that's my story.
That's my story. All right, Jackie, your turn.
Well, getting back to what you said about people's attributes, I always say a lot of people love the crutch of, it's just my genetics, okay? But we all have good genetics, and we all have genetics we'd rather forget about. So I always say definitely play up your best attribute. If it's your eyes, if people always comment you have beautiful eyes, then make sure that your eyes always look as beautiful as they can. And if it's, maybe your smile, then, if you're drinking a lot of coffee or red wine, then make sure you get your teeth whitening strips or whatever you use. It's all about keeping up. And what I always say is when people ask me, what is aging backwards? It's not a magic pill or potion or lotion, and we all wish it were, even though I did tell you about my little magic pill skin defense complex. But it's also about just adopting little daily habits that add up to big results. So, whether it's taking 20 minutes to do facial exercises, or taking minutes to do teeth whitening, or taking a few minutes to deep condition your hair, you know what? It takes work to be beautiful and look your best. So it's all a matter of how committed are you.
Well, and it's not selfish. I'm going to tell you, from somebody who has had to go the full gamut of raising kids as a single mom and taking care of my mom, and I took care of everybody else for many, many years. And then I hated what I saw in the mirror. I mean, I really, truly did, you guys. I would stand there and cry and go, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and who threw pudding cups all over my body. I just was like, no! But the best thing I ever did was make a commitment to myself a year and a half ago to get myself in shape to be the best I can be. Because you know what, when I look in the mirror and I like myself, I'm so much better for everybody else. I'm so much more productive. I mean, you've got to do that inside out as well as the outside in. I'm going to go to Linda because I know she has a question.
No, it's not a question. It's just something that Jackie taught me. I don't know. I'm either we spoke about it or she blogged about it, but I never realized that you had to take care of your earlobes, because earlobes are a dead giveaway to age. And ever since I've talked to Jackie about it, it's like 3 or 4 years. Anytime I put cream on my face, I put it on my earlobes. Anytime I have a bath or a shower and I come out and I douse my whole body with stuff to smell sweet and be well lubricated, I do my earlobes too, and my earlobes are dynamite. We forget about those little things, and they age too, right, Jackie?
Well, exactly. You know what? Yeah, I did teach you that, because nobody ever thinks about their earlobes. And so I've asked a lot of people, how many times have you put whatever face cream you're using on your earlobes? And they say never. You can find someone who's 75 years old who has never put cream on their earlobes.
I've walked for over 40 years without doing it, but I will start tonight.
Okay, right? And
now
also
you're going to start.
Not wearing heavy earrings, those earrings that pull your earlobes down, those poor little earlobes. You got to wear really, really light earrings. Don't sleep in your earrings. So, just make sure that you treat your earlobes just like skin. They're skin, just like everything else.
Yeah, I just had a vision of like,
good. Now Sandra's going to have pretty earlobes too.
I am. Well, and I was thinking when you said that, you think of like those earlobes that are all saggy and flappy, like underarm flab, it's like they just, ew. But you're right. You know what it is that I think that we're talking about, girls, is we need to pay attention to the finer details. It's like you can be the thinnest woman in the room and you can be fit, but when you turn around and your face can repel a cheetah bite because you've had so much surgery, like, you're just plastic woman. It's like we've got to keep it in balance and we got to pay attention to the small things. My pet peeve for women is fingernails. It's like, either they're dragon lady fingernails, like they have to go, the porn stars from the 80s with the big claw things, or women, I'm just going to put it out there, women my age, which I think are really sexy and beautiful and fun, and they put these fingernails on that are like 4 feet long. They remind me of that guy in the Guinness Book of World Records, with a black and white picture with the crazy nails. I'm just going to put it out there. There's my pet peeve for women.
Well, you know what? I think that people should just do whatever makes them happy. That's one thing that I finally learned in my 50s, is that I try not to really care or worry about what other people think as long as I'm doing my best and being my best. And so I know we have limited time left, but I want to get to a topic that's really important.
And Linda, we got to have you back. We got 1 minute.
Okay, well, in that last 1 minute, I want to mention this. Studies show that people who volunteer on a regular basis are the healthiest and live the longest. And if you don't know where to volunteer, there's a wonderful website called volunteermatch.org, and you put in your zip code and it instantly matches you with organizations in your own neighborhood who need volunteers. It's a win-win for everybody, and it is one way to keep aging backwards.
AgingBackwards.com. Our guest today has been Jackie Silver. Check her out on the web. She's fantastic. We're going to have you back in our 2014 season. Thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you.
We're so glad you joined us for Powered Up with Beck and Franklin. Sandra Beck, Los Angeles-based single mother and technology company owner, knows what it's like to be fit, funny, and fantastic in your 40s. Linda Franklin, a New Yorker with a successful